Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, I am so excited to finally share with you guys this update in the Ripple XRP lawsuit. As you guys know, the Ripple team has been against the SEC in this lawsuit, trying to determine whether or not XRP was actually going to be classified as a security or not. And as of the last couple days, XRP has actually won that lawsuit. We instantly saw the price break out, and we now have confirmation that XRP is in fact its own commodity. This is huge news for XRP holders. This is all of the indication that we needed to see for a true cycle to play out. And I firmly believe that all of the years I've been bullish before, now is finally the moment of truth where we're going to see this market cycle take off in a very big way. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, now here we are to start off today's video, and we are going to quickly talk about Bitcoin, analyze some thoughts and perspectives here, and then we're going to be getting back into the XRP chart and give you guys a total understanding of the way that I think the market will be playing out. Now, the reason I haven't covered XRP in a very long time has everything to do with the fact I was waiting for this lawsuit to get settled. I knew that the price action really wasn't going to do a whole lot until we got a settlement, and as you guys can tell, they won. They actually beat the SEC, and so now XRP is going to be, labeled as a commodity finally. And if you were following along with this lawsuit, I've tried to update you guys with it really over the last couple years, but I haven't done it in a little while. But what we noticed from the very beginning was it was more or less just this big, cash grab type thing, also just manipulation from the SEC on their part, and it really didn't have any tangibility to prop it up. As all the details surfaced, as all of the, proceedings went on inside of the court, what we ended up seeing was, a lot of these details and a lot of the, data that the SEC was using against Ripple was almost obsolete. It was a lot of funny stuff that really didn't mean anything, and to be quite honest, I really think that the only reason they did the lawsuit was because the guy who filed the lawsuit went and was part of Ethereum-based protocol. So there's a huge red flag. There was red flags all over the place when it became time for the lawsuit to happen. And so I always confidently believed that Ripple would win. And that's exactly what we are seeing. Now, in the shorter time frames, when we come over here, XRP is currently sitting at about 73 cents. If we look at this on a weekly time frame, we can see that we've had a truly remarkable breakout to the upside. And this is something that we talked a lot about. I mean, it was very obvious that when the market wasn't holding, it was very obvious that once the market came back down to this 30-cent region and we held support, most likely we weren't going to break below that. And to be quite honest, I wasn't expecting that we were going to break below this support, considering the fact we spent so much time consolidating on it inside of the last bear market and bull market combined. And so, we knew that there was going to be a resolution in this lawsuit, and that's exactly what we ended up seeing. And the market has pretty much came all the way back up and tagged this descending resistance. Now, as it stands, I wouldn't be surprised to see the market pull back here, maybe come and retest the breakout point here. And even if it does that, I still think that this thing's going to be trending upwards of about $1.40 over the rest of this year. So this is a remarkable thing that we're seeing. This is everything that we wanted to see for XRP holders. Anybody that's been following, anybody that's been investing, which if you've been investing as long as I have on this channel, you're sitting in these investments for over 5 years now. So to see everything kind of playing out like this, it's a very encouraging sign. And I know that you guys are super, super thrilled to finally see your XRP moving. Now, when I was looking at the XRP chart, the reason why I drew it that it could actually come back down and retest this breakout point is because when we're looking at Bitcoin, it has had 3 different attempts at a breakout of this resistance, and most recently with this third attempt we got a bearish engulfing candlestick, right? So that's not really what we want to be seeing here if we were to see a breakout, although it is still possible we can get continuation. But I will say that because this third attempt ended in a bearish engulfing and we're kind of seeing a little bit of continuation from that, to see Bitcoin pull back here and for it to even come back down to about 28.175 thousand basically would be the same exact point for XRP. Obviously, it's going to be a deeper pullback for XRP. XRP coming back down to that would be about a 20% drop. For Bitcoin, we're obviously not going to see that big of a drop. Probably only 3% or 5%. So it's about a 6% drop for Bitcoin. So we can see here that there's going to be more volatile. There's going to be way more volatility depending on which market we're looking at. But when I see Bitcoin right now, I do see the very real potential where this does have a short-term pullback. If it is a short-term pullback, I'm not expecting anything deeper than the mid-range point. quick retest like this before we finally make that next leg up into this cycle. But it's very apparent to me that when we're looking at all of these charts, we have a lot of accumulation that has been taking place, and specifically with XRP. And this is something I've talked a lot about. You guys know I'm very, very bullish on the long term of XRP. I very much believe that this is going to have a new cycle, and it's one of the very best cryptos in the entire market as a whole. As far as true adoption, you know, some of the more adoption in the entire market is actually done through XRP. And that's why it's kind of silly that through all this lawsuit, we had so many people that were just completely arrogant towards anybody that held XRP. They were really just, you know, saying all kinds of crazy FUD around XRP. But the truth of the matter is we don't have more adoption in, you know, hardly any cryptos out of, I would say, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and you could probably throw Binance Coin in there. But aside from those are really the leaders and always have been the leaders of the altcoin cycles. And, you know, XRP got kind of swept under the rug because we saw the lawsuit happen. It didn't break all-time highs. It didn't even hit its prior all-time high. And then we saw the likes of Ethereum and stuff do 35x from the lows. So we saw a lot of reasons for people to kind of move past XRP. But I ultimately believed that once the lawsuit settled, we were going to see XRP kind of regain that, you know, top stance. And it never really lost it. It's kind of maintained the trajectory that it's always been at, which shows you guys that it was so far past all of these other cryptos as far as adoption goes that it didn't even need to do anything in an entire last bull run, and it's still maintaining a top 10 status. So in my opinion, it all goes to show you that there still is a lot of money and support buying and propping up this market. So now that we have resolution, now that XRP is a confirmed commodity and we don't have to worry about this, that opens the door for all of the American investors, all of the people on Coinbase that were no longer able to buy XRP can do that. So it really does open up the possibilities for a lot more buy pressure to come into this cycle. The big reason I believe that XRP didn't go into new all-time highs is just because of the lawsuit. The lawsuit happened, guys, literally right here. Right when XRP first broke out and was about to start doing what Doge did. Because it was XRP and Doge were following each other perfectly. When Doge broke out and flipped its first resistance before it just started going like 100x in value, they were both at the exact same moment of time. The difference was Doge didn't get sued and XRP did get sued, and we instantly saw, you know, this 40 to 50% sell-off the following, you know, hours after. So we've seen a lot of attacks against XRP, which to me is a very big indication that there's a lot of value behind this project and it's not just some scam, right? If the SEC itself has these little, you know, weasels inside of their system that are actively attacking these cryptos while supporting, you know, their competitors being Ethereum, I mean, there's too many red flags right there for you to just say, okay, this is a very tangible lawsuit. They are very in the right about all of this. XRP is a scam. Because realistically, if you had just the slightest bit of, I don't even know what you'd say, just free thinking, so to speak. If you just did a little bit of research into these lawsuits, some of the details that emerged inside of these court proceedings, you would have been able to see that the whole lawsuit around this Ripple thing was just completely garbage. There really was never any tangibility propping it up. The only tangibility was really around the fact that Ripple, you know, printed all these XRP tokens, and then the way that they funded Ripple was by selling them on the market. So that was the only red flag around Ripple and XRP, but they openly told everybody from the beginning they were going to do that. So it's just their tokenomics, it's their own business model, and I mean, it's worked up to this point, so can you really hate on it? Now that it's a confirmed not a scam, I mean, there's really no more that we can, you know, bicker back and forth about this. To me, it's confirmed, and we got the confirmation with the lawsuit. Now, when we're watching this, guys, like I stated, we're literally just coiling in a long-term triangle. And to me, this is really quite similar to what we saw inside of Bitcoin's last cycle. Let's remove these drawing tools and let's come in here. It really reminds me a lot of the same price structure, although there is going to be differences here. We're looking at a much lengthier period of consolidation for XRP than we were with Bitcoin, right? And that's because XRP didn't do anything in its last cycle, right? Where this was the 2017 cycle, the 2018 bear market, and then this was the cycle for Bitcoin. XRP, its cycle never even went into new all-time highs. So what we're seeing here is altcoins are lagging Bitcoin as they always have, but what we see here is in Bitcoin's 2017 cycle, it did the same thing. We had the peak at 2017, the blow off top, had our bear market, then we made our first impulse in the new bull market, right? It ended up still being a lower high, and then we ended up having a multi-month correction that took us all the way back down to even the support of this, triangle pattern. And so when we're looking at this, Bitcoin contracted in this triangle. After COVID was when we finally got the breakout, and then that was what sent us into new all-time highs. Keep in mind, guys, that this is a shorter pattern than what we're seeing with XRP. From the moment of the all-time highs to us breaking was about 1,000 days. And if we're looking at XRP today, I mean, we're already going to be way past that. So from the all-time high to where we're at today is 2,000 days. So we've already doubled that entire cycle. But I do believe that it's still going to be playing out in a very similar way. And we can look at this in a couple different ways. You can look at it on a log scale, although I don't really like looking at it on the log scale quite as much. I like looking at it on a linear scale because when we're looking at these, to me, this is where you're going to get the first indication of a breakout. It's going to happen on the linear scale. And I do believe that if we see a pullback, it doesn't really change anything. I think that this is going to end up breaking out, making a run up to about $1.40 to $1.50. And then from there, we might see a longer pullback before we do something like this, right? We don't know how long it's going to take before we're really at the point of breaking out and going into new all-time highs. This cycle could front run. We could actually be going into a very much a quicker parabolic cycle, much quicker than the likes that we've seen in prior cycles. And so there's all kinds of things that we need to factor in here. We are seeing very bullish markets right now, and this is happening in the very early parts of a new bull trend. What we went off of with Bitcoin, we went through this long period of consolidation, and it was a contracting triangle that we spent, like I said, for 1,000 days before we went to new all-time highs. And it takes Bitcoin about 1,000 days from the all-time high to the point of us making a new all-time high, which, is about 3 years. So where we're sitting at right now with the altcoins and XRP, we got to remember that even though we are seeing these breakouts and it is an encouraging sign, we have to remember that we're still looking at a 4-year cycle, and which that means that we're in the 3-year bull run part. So it's going to be a slow process. It's going to take a little while to build up before we're at the point of actually breaking out. Although I will say, altcoins like XRP put themselves in a very unique situation because of the fact XRP was really limited in the last cycle because of this lawsuit. All of a sudden, no Americans could go buy XRP anymore. So that in and of itself was a huge reason why we never saw XRP perform so well. Now, if you guys don't know of this, XLM is basically the biggest competitor of XRP, and one of the creators of XRP and Ripple left to go and actually create XLM. And what we see here between XRP and XLM is that they create the same charts. Now, if you notice here, XLM had this move, and depending on the cycle that you're looking at, this actually did make a new all-time high depending on the exchanges. And so what we saw here was XLM made this much bigger impulse than XRP did, right? And a lot of that is just because of the fact we had the lawsuit. And so in the same way that a lot of other altcoins didn't even make all-time highs, right? So XRP didn't make a new all-time high. This was a lower high, but we would still consider this an impulse, right? This is an impulse. This is a correction, but it maintained a higher high. We've maintained a higher high and higher lows. So nonetheless, this is still an impulse, right? And so we are going to expect at some point when this breaks out of this descending resistance, that's going to set us up for a much bigger move to the upside. And I think it will play out something like this, very similar to what we just drew over here, right? Even though it's a much lengthier pattern, this is twice the length of time that what we saw in the last cycle for Bitcoin, it's still the same pattern, and it creates the same type of expanses. The thing I want you guys to remember is because this is double the length of time, I would expect that the price action is going to double the price of what Bitcoin did, right? Bitcoin went from 10K to 69K approximately. XRP is sitting, or has been sitting, at about 35 to 40 cents throughout this entire bottom. I'm still going to stick to my target of $28 going into this next cycle. And a lot of people are going to continue to mock that, and that's fine. A lot of people mocked that in the last cycle, but the truth of the matter is we never even had the cycle I was expecting, right? We never went into a true new all-time high, parabolic impulse like we were accustomed to seeing in all of the prior cycles. And that's what tells me that there's so much more money in the market today that it took twice the amount of time before we're going to see those same 2017 type of rallies. Now, I want to share with you guys a chart here. So this is the chart that I wanted to share with you guys. And I think that this is the most important XRP chart that you're going to be able to understand for the average person that's just trying to invest on a big picture basis. What we are seeing here for XRP is the exact same setup that we saw right before the 2017 run. The only difference is it's taking much more time to create this type of a breakout to the upside. So what I'm talking about here is this. Inside of our very first cycle, we saw our bull run up. We saw our cycle top here. Bear market. Out of the bear market, we have our first impulse. This is a lower high compared to the all-time high that we made, right? We make another correction, come back down to the same trending support that we've been at. And then from there, we kind of just consolidate sideways. Eventually, we get a breakout of descending resistance, retested as support, and then that's what sets us in for that all-time high breakout. Now, what we're seeing today is almost the same thing. The only difference here is it's a much lengthier pattern, a much more expansive pattern than years past. We saw the all-time high in 2017, would have been the same here. We get our bear market, takes us to the bottom here. This takes us to our next impulse, lower high, remember? And then this takes us to our next correction, back down to trending support here. And then in the same way that we just consolidated here forever and ever and ever and ever, we're doing the same thing. And I do believe that where we're at today is more or less this point of us breaking out of the descending resistance. I don't know how long it's going to take. You know, it might be 2024 before we're actually at a point of, you know, making another impulse. I don't know, guys. And that's why I tell you guys, we're in a 4-year cycle. So considering the fact we just started the 3-year uptrend at the end of the year, 2021, you know, we're only 6 months into this new 3-year uptrend. So, you know, we still got 2.5 years. Understand that, because there's still plenty of time in the cycle. Obviously, if XRP does something like this, we flip this, we start breaking out, and then we're just instantly teleporting into new all-time highs, we're looking at a different animal altogether. And if XRP is starting to break out and go into new all-time highs, and other altcoins like maybe Ethereum are doing the same thing, this cycle, in my opinion, will end up being a shorter one, and it'll lead to somewhat of a blow-off top and kind of a, I don't know, almost like a multi-year cycle top, so to speak. But if this thing takes a good amount of time to build, consolidate, you know, and XRP is, we're sitting at 2024, 2020, mid-2024, even into 2025 before we're really breaking out and going into price discovery, then that to me tells me that we're actually going to be in a normal 4-year cycle. Because, like I stated, guys, for Bitcoin, let's go back here and let's get to a bigger time frame. For Bitcoin, we can look at all of these cycles and we can see that from the all-time high to the point of us making a brand new all-time high, in 2015 it was like 1,200 days that it took us. In the last cycle in 2017, it was 1,000 days, like I said, 1,000, 1,100, however you want to draw that. And so this has kind of been the staple every single one of these cycles. And so if we're looking at the same sort of events again, let's just go with 1,000 days. You know, we're looking at basically mid-2024, sometime around the halving, or after the halving, I should say, because the Bitcoin halving in 2024 is set for April. So this projects to be August. So really, if we're going to follow a normal cycle like we have, we have plenty of time before we're going to be breaking out and making new all-time highs, which is why I say the reason why I think that our cycle today is lining up more consistently with 2019 is because what we saw in 2019, we had this big impulse off of the lows that almost went to the all-time highs, right? And that was something that we just didn't see in all the prior cycles. In 2017 and 16, it was higher highs and higher lows, a very clear uptrend for over a year before going into a blow-off top. In this first cycle, honestly, even though it was a shorter time frame, it was still kind of the same as 2017. Higher highs and higher lows, building a solid trend before us finally going into price discovery. I can't tell you how this specific cycle is going to be, but up to this point, it's behaved a little bit more similarly to the 2019 run, which has told me that we run up here, we go up to about 48,000, maybe 40,000 on the low end, then we start a correction, right? We maybe come all the way back down here, do something like this, and then that's what's going to start a new cycle. And that's kind of the point that I've been leaning towards. Generally speaking, the first impulse, however big that is, that starts the cycle, and the bigger that it is, based off 2019, the longer the reconsolidation on the downside will be. So that's I bring this stuff up to you guys because if we're seeing all of these higher highs and higher lows, these nice breakouts, I believe that once we hit $48,000, we are going to have a multi-month cycle top. And it'll be very similar to what we saw over here once we peaked in June of 2019. I don't know exactly what it'll look like. I don't know how long the reaccumulation will look like. I really don't know. But what I can say is based off of history. We're looking at least 1,000 days before we ever get to the point of breaking and making a new all-time high. Keep in mind, that's 1,000 days from the end of the year of 2021. So as it stands today, it's hard to say exactly. So as it stands today, we're looking at about another 389 days before we're at 1,000 days before the kind of the same threshold for where we've seen prior cycles break out. Sorry, that's kind of confusing. I don't know why I said it like that. But you guys are understanding the perspective here. When we're looking at all of these charts, I believe that we're getting ready for a truly monumental type of bull run. But when we're looking at these charts, we have to remember that it always takes a good amount of time before we're finally at the point of breaking all-time highs. So yes, Ripple won the lawsuit. XRP is not a security. All the American exchanges are going to relist it. I believe XRP will pick back up and really, continue to outperform and outshine, outpace a lot of cryptos into this next cycle. And I firmly believe it's one of the very best, safest cryptos you could possibly buy. Now more so than ever because of the clarity with the SEC and whatnot. But I mean, now the market's up a lot. So that's just the way the market works. The best times to buy are always the worst times to buy, right? I mean, technically, the worst time to buy XRP was when it got sued by the SEC because everybody thought it was a security, when in actuality that was the best time to be buying if you knew that it wasn't actually a security, which I've talked to you guys a lot about that. I've talked to you guys a lot about why I thought that the whole SEC lawsuit was fishy. All the details emerged and it became more fishy. I expected that we would win. They prolonged the inevitable by years, and then they won. And so now that we're at this day, I just wanted to give you guys this update. Wanted to give you guys the clarity that, we're looking at a breakout next. Once we break out of this major descending resistance, that is the last thing that XRP needs to do to confirm the bull market, in my opinion. And I do think that we could spend a decent amount of time consolidating around the breakout point, maybe similar to what we saw over here for Bitcoin leading into the new all-time high breakout. But I think regardless, what I'm looking for Bitcoin is a run, a blow off top to 48K. For XRP to make a run upwards of about $1.40 to 50 cents. Then after all of this, I do think we're going to go through a decent corrective phase. And then from there, that'll kind of be this period here where probably at the end of this year, I would say we're most likely going to end up topping in this move for Bitcoin somewhere around late summer to early fall. Whenever that move tops, that starts the multi-month correction. And I honestly won't really be expecting much happening until probably spring of 2024. And that's just generally the way that the cycles are going to work, based off of what I've seen in years past, based off what I've traded. And so I just wanted to give you guys this update. Be patient. Remember, we got the first big win that we needed to see for XRP holders. And now I honestly think that it's just clear skies above. We're going to have to go through a little bit of a period of reconsolidation, but all of that stuff's mainly done. Once we break out of this, it's game over for the bears, and I'm really confident that we're about to see some very big upside potential from XRP over the course of this cycle. So, if you found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these updates. If you guys want to join the Discord server, download my free ebook, follow the trades that I take, whatever it is with my money, links are in the description to go ahead and look at any of that stuff. You guys can sign up for my VIP course. You can follow my trades, or you guys can download my free ebook if you just want to get a little bit of free education. Lots of good education lots of solid information throughout there, and a lot of it's free. So check it out. Thank you all so much for the support. Thank you all so much for the people that have supported this channel, and most importantly, for the people that kept holding their XRP the entire length. Kudos to you. You guys are the ultimate investors, and honestly, if you held XRP for over 3 years, I think that you could consider yourself a seasoned holder at this point. So, pat yourself on the back. It's a really hard thing to do, and I do believe that the people that have been holding will be rewarded in due time. Once we finally get the breakouts, this thing is going to fly. You can only suppress something so long before the pressure becomes too great, and XRP is a truly pressurized animal that's about to take off. So I'm really excited for all you guys. Super happy that they won. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.